Friends, for 3 decades of my life, I chased success with every fiber of my being. I worked tirelessly, often burning the candle at both ends, believing that sheer effort and long hours were the only path to prosperity. I was wrong. I am Rabbi David, and today I want to share a profound truth that transformed my financial life and, more importantly, my spiritual understanding of wealth. This isn't just about money, it's about unlocking a deeper connection to abundance that has always been available to us, if only we knew how to access it. For years, I lived by the conventional wisdom: work hard, save diligently, and you will eventually achieve financial security. And I did work hard. From my early 20s, I poured myself into my endeavors, always striving for more, always pushing harder. I built businesses, I taught, I consulted. I saw some success, yes, but it was always fleeting, always demanding more of my time and energy. It felt like I was constantly running on a treadmill, moving fast, but never truly getting ahead. The harder I ran, the more exhausted I became, and the finish line seemed to recede further into the distance. I was trading my precious time, my most finite resource, for money, and it was a losing proposition. This went on for 30 years. 30 years of striving, of sacrificing, of feeling like I was always just one step behind. I saw others, seemingly working less, achieving more. I wondered what their secret was. Was it luck? Was it connections? Or was there something fundamental I was missing? The answer, I discovered, was not in working harder, but in working smarter and more profoundly, in understanding the ancient wisdom of our Torah and Talmud regarding wealth creation. It was a Jewish money law, a principle so ancient yet so revolutionary that it completely changed my perspective and my reality. The core of my struggle, and perhaps yours too, was a misunderstanding of how wealth truly functions. I was focused entirely on what we call active income. Active income is what you earn directly from your labor. It's your salary, your hourly wage, the fees you charge for your services. You work, you get paid, you stop working, the income stops. This is the paradigm most of us are taught, and it's a necessary starting point. We all need to earn a living, to provide for our families, to contribute to society. But it's a limited paradigm, one that traps you in a perpetual cycle of trading time for money. Imagine a farmer who spends all day tilling the soil, planting seeds, and harvesting crops. This is active income. It's essential. But what if that farmer also plants an orchard of fruit trees? The trees take time to grow, but once mature, they produce fruit year after year with minimal ongoing effort. That, my friends, is passive income. It's money that works for you, generating returns even when you're not actively engaged in labor. It's the difference between being the laborer and being the owner of the labor-producing asset. This distinction between active and passive income is not a modern invention. It's deeply embedded in Jewish thought, particularly in the Talmud. Our sages, thousands of years ago, understood the dynamics of wealth in a way that modern economics is only now beginning to fully appreciate. They recognized that true financial freedom and the ability to pursue higher spiritual callings comes not from endless toil, but from intelligent stewardship of resources, allowing those resources to multiply. One of the most foundational principles in this regard is the Talmudic three-part asset division. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a profound strategy for managing your capital, found in the Talmud, Tractate Bava Metzia 107a. The sages advise, let a person always divide his money into 3 parts, 1/3 in land, 1/3 in merchandise, and 1/3 ready at hand. This isn't about literal land, merchandise, and cash in today's world, but about diversifying your assets into three distinct categories, each serving a different purpose. The first third, land, represents stable, long-term investments. These are assets that hold their value, appreciate over time, and often provide a steady stream of income. Think of real estate, yes, but also consider solid, dividend-paying stocks or even certain types of bonds. The key is stability and growth, a foundation upon which your wealth can build without constant intervention. This is where your money begins to work for you in a foundational way, providing a bedrock of security. The second third, merchandise, refers to entrepreneurial ventures, businesses, or more dynamic investments. These are assets that require more active management, but also have the potential for higher returns. This could be investing in a startup, running your own business, or even engaging in more speculative stock market activities. It's about taking calculated risks, leveraging your knowledge and effort to generate significant growth. This is where your money is actively engaged in the marketplace, seeking opportunities for expansion. And the final third, ready at hand, is your liquid capital. This is the money you keep accessible for immediate needs, for emergencies, or for seizing unexpected opportunities. It's your savings account, your money market fund, or even a portion of your checking account. This ensures you have flexibility, that you're not caught off guard by unforeseen expenses, and that you can act quickly when a promising investment presents itself. This portion provides peace of mind and agility. When I first encountered this principle, it was a revelation. For so long, I had kept all my eggs in the active income basket, essentially putting all my money ready at hand or constantly reinvesting it into my own labor. I had no true land or merchandise in the Talmudic sense. My money wasn't working for me. I was always working for my money. This three-part division forces a strategic allocation, ensuring both stability and growth while maintaining liquidity. It's a blueprint for building sustainable wealth, not just earning a paycheck. But what about the spiritual aspect? How does this connect to our faith? The Torah teaches us about the prohibition of interest, ribbit, when lending to a fellow Jew. This law, found in Exodus 22:24 and Leviticus 25:36-37, is designed to prevent exploitation and foster community. It ensures that those in need are not burdened by excessive debt. However, this presented a challenge for commerce and investment. How could one engage in profitable ventures with others if charging interest was forbidden? This is where the concept of heter iska comes into play. Heter iska, which literally means permit for a transaction, is a Torah-sanctioned investment vehicle that allows for profit-sharing arrangements while circumventing the prohibition of interest. It's a brilliant legal construct developed by our sages that transforms a loan into a partnership. Instead of lending money and charging interest, one invests money with another, and they become partners in a venture. The investor provides capital, and the active partner manages the business. Profits are then shared according to a pre-agreed formula. I remember the first time I truly understood heter iska. It wasn't just a legal loophole, it was a profound ethical framework. It shifts the relationship from creditor-debtor, which can be adversarial, to partner-partner, which is collaborative. It encourages mutual success, shared risk, and shared reward. It's about aligning interests, ensuring that both parties benefit from the venture's prosperity. This mechanism allowed me to participate in passive income streams, to have my money work for me in a way that was fully compliant with Jewish law and, more importantly, imbued with spiritual integrity. Through Heter Iska, I began to understand that wealth creation, when done ethically and according to Torah principles, is not just permissible but encouraged. It's a means to build, to create, to support, and to give. It's a way to generate resources that can then be used for good, for tzedakah, for supporting Torah study, and for strengthening our communities. It transformed my view of money from a necessary evil to a powerful tool for spiritual elevation. This brings me to another transformative principle: Maser. Maser is the tithe, the giving of 10% of one's earnings to charity. It's a mitzvah, a commandment, found in Deuteronomy 14:22. For many, giving away 10% of their hard-earned money feels like a sacrifice, a reduction of their own resources. I certainly felt that way for a long time. I thought, I'm struggling to make ends meet. How can I give away 10%? But the Torah promises us something extraordinary regarding Maser. It says in Malachi 3:10, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And test me in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing without measure." This is one of the few places in the Torah where GD explicitly invites us to test him. It's a divine guarantee. I started practicing Maser with a new understanding. It wasn't just an obligation, it was an investment. It was planting a seed for abundance. By giving away 10%, I was signaling to the universe and to myself that I trusted in GD's provision, that I believed in the principle of divine reciprocity, and the results were astonishing. It wasn't always immediate, but over time I saw my income increase, opportunities arise, and my financial situation stabilize in ways I couldn't have imagined. Maser is not about diminishing your wealth, it's about sanctifying it, about making it a conduit for blessing. It creates a spiritual pipeline for abundance. It shifts your mindset from scarcity, from holding on to every penny out of fear, to abundance, to recognizing that true wealth comes from a source beyond our own efforts, and that by giving we open ourselves to receiving even more. It's a powerful antidote to the fear and anxiety that often accompany financial struggles. This leads us to the most profound shift of all, moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. For 30 years, I operated from a place of scarcity. Every dollar I earned felt like a dollar I had to fight for, to protect, to hoard. I worried constantly about not having enough, about losing what I had. This mindset is exhausting, limiting, and ultimately self-defeating. It creates a reality where you are always chasing, always feeling deprived. The Jewish money laws, the Talmudic three-part division, Heter Iska, Maser, they are not just financial strategies, they are spiritual practices. They are designed to rewire our understanding of wealth, to move us from a place of fear and lack to a place of trust and generosity. They teach us that true wealth is not just about how much you have, but about how you relate to what you have and how you use it. An abundance mindset recognizes that the world is full of blessings, that resources are plentiful, and that GD is the ultimate provider. It's about understanding that when you give, you don't lose. You create space for more to come in. When you invest wisely, you're not just seeking personal gain. You're participating in the act of creation, of building, of bringing more good into the world. This shift didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process of learning, of practicing, of trusting. It required me to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs about money and success. It meant letting go of the idea that I had to control everything, and instead surrendering to a higher wisdom, to the principles embedded in our ancient texts. I began to see my work not just as a means to an end, but as an opportunity to apply these principles. I restructured my investments, diversifying according to the three-part division. I sought out opportunities for passive income through ethical partnerships, leveraging Heter Iska, and I committed to Maser, not as a burden, but as a joyful act of faith. The results were transformative. My financial situation improved dramatically, yes, but more importantly, my relationship with money changed. The anxiety lessened. The feeling of being on a treadmill disappeared. I found a sense of peace and security that had eluded me for decades. I realized that the true blessing was not just the money itself, but the freedom it provided to pursue my spiritual calling with greater focus and less distraction. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if you're feeling stuck, if you're working hard but not seeing the results you desire, perhaps it's time to look beyond conventional wisdom. Perhaps it's time to explore the timeless principles that have guided our people for generations. It's not about magic, it's about aligning your actions with divine wisdom. Start by understanding the difference between active and passive income. How much of your income is tied directly to your hourly effort? How can you begin to cultivate assets that generate income even when you're not actively working? This might mean educating yourself about investments, starting a side business that can eventually run itself, or finding ways to leverage your existing skills into products or services that scale. Then, consider the Talmudic three-part asset division. Are your resources balanced? Do you have a stable foundation, dynamic growth opportunities, and sufficient liquidity? It's a framework for thoughtful stewardship, ensuring that your financial house is built on solid ground. Explore the concept of ethical investment vehicles like Heter Iska. Understand that you can engage in commerce and generate returns in a way that honors your values and fosters partnership rather than exploitation. Seek out opportunities where you can invest in others' ventures, sharing in their success in a mutually beneficial way. And embrace Maser not as a tax, but as a spiritual investment. See it as planting a seed for future abundance, as an act of faith that opens the windows of heaven. It's a powerful practice that shifts your focus from what you lack to what you can give, and in doing so, unlocks a flow of blessings. Most importantly, cultivate an abundance mindset. Challenge your fears about money. Recognize that true security comes not from hoarding, but from trusting in the divine source of all provision. Understand that generosity is not a drain on your resources, but a catalyst for their multiplication. My journey from 30 years of struggle to a place of financial peace and spiritual abundance was not easy, but it was profoundly rewarding. It taught me that the greatest wealth is not just in what you accumulate, but in the wisdom you gain and the life you build. It's about living in alignment with principles that transcend the fleeting trends of the marketplace. These ancient Jewish money laws are not just for Jews, they are universal principles of prosperity and ethical living. They offer a path to not only financial well-being, but also to a deeper sense of purpose and connection. They invite us to see money not as an end in itself, but as a tool, a resource, a means to fulfill our highest potential and to bring more light into the world. I encourage you to delve deeper into these teachings, to study them, to apply them, and to witness the transformative power they hold. Don't waste another moment chasing a limited vision of success. Embrace the wisdom that has stood the test of time and allow it to guide you to a life of true abundance. Thank you for joining me today. May your path be blessed with prosperity, wisdom, and peace. But let me share with you the story of how this wisdom changed my life personally. For over 30 years, I was caught in a cycle, working tirelessly, pouring every ounce of energy into my career, believing that sheer effort alone would eventually unlock the doors to success. I thought that hard work was the only answer, that long hours and relentless hustle were the keys to financial freedom. And for a while, it seemed to work. I built a business, made some money, but something was always missing. Despite the outward signs of success, I felt stuck. The more I chased money, the less fulfilling it became. I was exhausted, disconnected from my family, and at times questioning if all this effort was worth it. It wasn't until I stumbled upon a profound teaching in Jewish law about money that everything shifted. This teaching is called the law of tzedakah. You might know it as charity, but it's so much more than simply giving money away. Tzedakah means righteousness and justice. It's a commandment, a sacred duty, and a pathway to aligning yourself with divine abundance. The law teaches that when you give a portion of your income with a pure heart, you open channels for blessing to flow into your life in ways you never imagined. At first, I was skeptical. How could giving away hard-earned money possibly bring more money to me? But I decided to test this principle. I committed to giving consistently, thoughtfully, and joyfully, and the results? Miraculous. Doors began to open, opportunities appeared out of nowhere, and my business grew in ways that felt like divine intervention rather than human effort alone. This law of tzedakah is just one example of how Jewish money wisdom transcends mere finance. It teaches us about the flow of energy in our world, the circulation of blessings. Money, when hoarded or chased selfishly, becomes stagnant, blocking the blessings meant to reach us. But when we release it with faith and generosity, it returns multiplied, creating a cycle of blessing and growth. Another powerful concept is the idea of dina de malshuta dina, which means the law of the land is the law. It reminds us that financial success is not just about personal effort or even divine favor, but about respecting the systems and structures around us. It's about integrity, honesty, and fairness in all our dealings. When we conduct our business with ethical standards rooted in Torah law, we build a foundation that can withstand any storm. And here's the secret. Combining these laws, giving generously while conducting ourselves with integrity, creates a powerful synergy. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil and nurturing them with water and sunlight. The harvest is inevitable. I want you to imagine your own life in this light. What if you stopped chasing money like a mirage and started engaging with it as a sacred trust? What if every dollar you earned was seen as a blessing from God, entrusted to you to use wisely and generously? How would that change your relationship with your work, your family, your community? For me, embracing these teachings brought balance. I learned to work smarter, not just harder. I focused on creating value, building relationships, and trusting in the divine flow. The money law didn't just change my finances, it transformed my entire outlook on life. You might be wondering, how do I start? How do I apply these ancient principles in today's modern world? The answer is simple but profound. Start with intention. Set aside a portion of your income for tzedakah, not out of obligation, but out of gratitude and faith. Choose causes that resonate with your heart, whether it's helping someone in need, supporting education, or strengthening your community. Next, commit to honesty and transparency in your financial dealings. Keep clear records, honor your agreements, and treat every person you work with as a partner in your journey. Let integrity be the cornerstone of your business and personal finances. Finally, take time to study these laws. The Torah and the Talmud are filled with wisdom about money, wealth, and prosperity. Engage with a trusted mentor or join a study group. The more you learn, the more you'll see how these principles apply to your life. Remember, wealth is not just about accumulation. It's about responsibility. It's about using your resources to uplift others and bring more goodness into the world. When you align your financial practices with these timeless Jewish laws, you step into a flow shalom.